How big is it? What category?
Category 5.
Striker. It's category 5. The first ever.
Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Wolcen, Lords of Mayhem. Now over the past 2.5 years we've been covering Wolcen, and for the most part we've been making fun of them, and it's kind of been meme videos and it's a haha look what they did. Now this is not one of those videos. Something feels different in the air. Let me explain. Normally their monthly communication updates comes out 1 or 2 days or even sometimes into the next month. So I get to see them at the studio. Oh my gosh, it's the end of the month and we haven't dropped anything. Okay, just take that generic paragraph we wrote out and just put that up there. It's literally like nonsensical words that tell us nothing. This update came out 7 days before the month is over, and it has detailed explanations and drawings of what is to come. I mean, it's been a year, maybe years, since we've seen this level of communication from this studio. And at the bottom, you could see that. Normally this has a couple hundred likes and 10 comments, 80 comments, 774 likes. So right off the bat, whoever's in charge of the communication over there, whoever was in charge, you're doing way better. You're already doing way better, whether it's the same person or you got some new blood. Okay. All right, monthly development update, October 2022. Let's see what's going on over at Wolcen, Lords of Mayhem. Greetings Ascended. This month we will be giving you an overview of what to expect on Chapter 4, the new systems that will be accompanying it, and the balance pass. Storms Fall. We want to keep narrative specifics under wraps until you can experience the chapter for yourself. Here is a tease, a taster of what is at stake in Chapter 4. Oh, this looks scary. Okay, you ready for this? All right. Rest now, Ascended. You are free. The events of Crimson Keep hang over the mind of the Ascended, an endless nightmare from which they felt they'd never awake. A family torn asunder and a foe unleashed. Meanwhile, sinister forces conspire to harness the power of Oshara, the ancient dragon monarch, and voice of Nidar. Though their effort ultimately failed, it did uncover a new target, a new opportunity, sequestered away in the halls of Stormfall Palace. Now the city falls under the hungry gaze of a being more powerful, more cunning, and more dangerous than you have ever directly fought before. A being whose mechanism levels led you, the Ascended, to this moment. All you have fought for, all you have lost. The allies you have gained and the family that was broken are poised to burn away in a tide of ash, fire, and fury. You must prepare. Stormfall must prepare. Ahriman comes. Ahriman comes. Think of like Saruman, Ahriman. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I'm going to say Ahriman comes. And look, Stormfall's burning. Yikes. That looks too scary. Looks pretty scary. The ultimate boss fight. Okay, let's hear about this. The boss fights that have capped off Wolcen's chapters are memorable, intense, and sometimes even charming. And all the above, tough. We want to continue this grand tradition in Chapter 4, but with a twist. Ahriman, the grand architect of your fate, is a foe unlike any other you have faced. You most certainly will not win if you rush in blind. I want to rush in blind, and I want to see if my minion build can take it. Don't nerf my build. Actually, they're going to be like, haha, you always make fun of us. We're going to kill your build. Probably going to happen. In fact, we guarantee it. They guarantee we will die if we rush in blind. Okay, so even with all your power, can you succeed? The fallen Duke of Fury has legions at his command, powerful lieutenants, and a collective fury of all those he has pacified, which manifests into a truly devastating abilities above count. You must remove these elements. Chapter 4 will incorporate and expand upon the war table and city expansion systems with new features which will be used to weaken the Blind Prince and improve your chances while weaving the narrative and thematic elements. So this is ultimately what it is. This boss, per the communication, is unkillable. They guarantee it. So through chapter 4, through the war table, through the endgame systems, you actually have to weaken him on your way to fight him. And then in his weakened state, you can prevail. That's how I read it, okay? The new experiences and mechanics. Chapter 4 will not only be a continuation of Wolcen's story, but will also add new layers to the game and its systems, which will appeal to even a seasoned endgame player. As we did with Blood Trail's release, we are taking the opportunity to make some sweeping changes that will improve the existing core gameplay and systems, as well as allow for greater flexibility in the future in terms of something very common, something you are very used to, something that you see quarterly. Seasons. Oh yes, Wolcen, Lords of Mayhem, is going to have seasons. Now, maybe you are not going to believe me when I say this. During podcasts and during streams, I have been giving Wolcen more credit than I probably ever have before. The reason why is because what you've come to get used to, cash shops, pay to win mechanics, all of that crap, Wolcen Lords of Mayhem does not have a cash shop. Not even for cosmetics. There's no way to buy power. There's no way to buy anything. $40 retail game. By the way, right now it's half off, 20 bucks. And none of that. I am so curious if with the introduction of seasons, if they are going to add a battle pass, if they are going to add a cash shop. I'm wondering if this is their way, like, hey, how do we squeeze more money out of this? Well, we can go seasons and we can throw in all the crap people are used to. I'm curious if that's the thought. We will see. We're almost there. The update will bring the lieutenant system. Okay, this is how you weaken Ahriman. An expansion of the war table loop in chapter 4 and endgame. As complete operations, players contribute progress to unlocking important missions, where they must face down an elite enemy who wields one of Ahriman's many deadly abilities. If the player is triumphant, Ahriman will have a weaker version of that ability when you finally confront him. So you gotta go through and beat all his lieutenants. A curses and blessings system. A new series of modifiers that are triggered by processing through the lieutenants. Okay, so as you process through the lieutenants, you also process through the curses and blessings system in chapter 4, or according to the difficulty level selected at the game. These modifiers sit on top of the war table's existing mission modifiers in chapter 4 and endgame. While they are far fewer in number, they are much more powerful and unique. They will enable or require more strategic play and work in progress examples. So listen to this. This is actually pretty fascinating. Curse, Thunderous Wrath. A lightning storm rages over the battlefield, periodically striking at the player unless evaded. Here's what happens. You will avoid the strikes or bear the damage. Makes perfect sense. And harness the power of the skies. Okay, so if you bear the damage and you harness the power of the skies, what does that mean? Like the lightning strikes down, you could take it in, you're like Raiden now, and you could like shoot out lightning bolts. Harness the power of the skies. I want to know what that means. Blessings, impurity incarnated. Claim the power of the zealots that would dare to hunt you. Hitting enemies applies a vulnerability effect, increasing the damage they take from all sources for a brief time. All right, that's not as cool as harness the power of the skies. What does that mean? New city building projects, which will be key to increasing Stormfall's defenses and providing you with powerful buffs to aid your fight against Ahriman. So we're gonna have new stuff to do in the city builder. A new rhythm to endgame. Ahriman's siege on Stormfall will periodically trigger during endgame, culminating in the dramatic Ahriman fight and powerful rewards should you survive. Now, this is really weird. So in chapter 4, do I go through the campaign and then at the end of the campaign I fight this boss? Or do I go through chapter 4 and then through endgame I unlock this fight? Or is it both? I fight him in the campaign and then you could also fight him during endgame? That's one of my questions. Infinitely scaling difficulty. Currently, higher difficulties in endgame are unlocked by accumulating skull points, yes, which are awarded from successfully completed operations at a higher available difficulty. You may have noticed that upon reaching the current difficulty ceiling of 217, which we can run very easily, Skulls still appear on the rewards screen. With Chapter 4, you will be able to accumulate skulls at 217 and then use them to launch operations at a higher difficulty as you stockpile, and bravery permits. Push the limits of your skills and builds. Ever greater rewards and challenges await. So, we're going to be able to move past 217. I think the old one was like 187 and then they pushed it to 217. And here it says infinitely. So now you can go as high as your character allows, which infinitely is a scary word. Because you get that one person that finds that broken build and now they're pushing 1200, you know, something crazy like that. Chapter 4 will also bring a few new toys to the players to play with. New toys to play with? There will be several new unique items for playstyle possibilities. We'll be detailing these at a later date. Ooh, I want to see some new uniques. Or update the update the existing uniques and add new uniques. All right, the last part on top of all of that. As we have communicated previously, Chapter 4 will be accompanied by a massive balancing pass. Womp womp. This will touch on all skills, all skill modifiers, all nodes in the Gates of Fate, specific nodes in the Gates of Fate rework to help boost two-handed play, a general reduction in XP curve for player levels, a general reduction in city building cost, unique items with a significant increase in power for underperforming items. This, of course, has just been a general overview of Chapter 4 and what features and improvements are coming. We'll reveal more information and present deeper dives into specific topics in the following months. So, I've already been recording for over 11 minutes, okay? That's like the longest breakdown ever for a month. All new balance, all new uniques, completely new end game systems, new chapter, and it is fairly complicated as far as what you're going to be able to do. So, look at this guy. Wolcen, Lords of Mayhem. Will I play seasons? Will I break down this new content? Will I maybe even stream it? The answer is, of course I will. It's one of my favorite games to cover. Whether it's we're covering it seriously or we're making fun of them, it's always a good time. Community always enjoys it. So I am excited to see what this new update has in store. And what are they calling it? Storms Fall? I'm excited for the Storms Fall update. I hope that's not what they call it. That's the video. I want to know your opinion. Is it Aaron? Forget Diablo 4. Forget PoE 2. Forget Last Epoch 1.0. I want some Wolcen, or Aaron, this is garbage. Forget it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. To ask at the end of this video, ask number 1, I'm hoping today is the day I have earned your subscription. Hoping today is the day you make the decision to push that little red button. I would really appreciate it. It really does help the channel for 2022. Ask number 2, check out my Patreon. Thank you to the first 48 members that have signed up. Become an instant ARPG VIP and get Patreon exclusive content at the first link in the description. Weekly blog post, weekly podcast, access to the VIP lounge where you can chit chat with me every single day, special title for the Discord, and you get added wheel spins for custom merch at the end of the month. Lots of other benefits depending on where you sign up at. First link in the description. That's all I've got. Hopefully you were entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.